Hello YouTubers, it's Road Dog Does Politics. For the life of me, I can't figure out how my Google Hangouts is still not working, so I'm having to do a pre-recorded video just so I can get my thoughts out and put it up on YouTube hopefully some point this evening. I know I haven't done a video in God knows how long, 2 or 3 months by the looks of it. I'm really sorry. I know so much has happened since I last did a video. It looks as though Boris Johnson, God forbid, is about to become our next PM. Run for the fucking hills. I actually just want to go to hell because I feel like that will be a better place than the UK with Boris Johnson in charge, to be honest. So 2 things I really wanted to address, apart from not obviously making a video for ages and ages, is that the recent incident with MP Mark Field during a banquet speech by Philip Hammond at Mansion House last week. That incident that I'm sure everyone will know about with the climate change protester, and also more recently what happened over the weekend with Boris Johnson and his girlfriend in a sort of domestic abuse incident event where it was reported and recorded and given to the Guardian newspaper. So 2 things, as I said. Let's start with Mark Field. I mean, both of these things, the rank hypocrisy of both of these incidents, in that the media is treating it, or both of them, as, well, you know, that's what happens. Oh, I mean, if Jeremy Corbyn had manhandled and assaulted a lady, a protester nonetheless, and frog marched her out of the room, you wouldn't hear the end of it, would you? Let's be honest. You wouldn't hear the end of it. If it had been any other, let alone Jeremy Corbyn, had it been any other Labour MP, had it been a Lib Dem, a Green, any other MP from any other party, it would be in the news for weeks on end, for months on end. You just wouldn't hear the end of that story. Oh my God, did you see? Oh my goodness, Jeremy Corbyn has marched a woman, assaulted a woman out of the room. How dare he? It's an act of violence. It's assault. He should resign. He should have the whip removed. He's a violent communist Marxist. He should be fired. There should be a leadership election. There should be a vote of no confidence. How dare he? No, pretty much like that. It just goes on and on and on. Similar with any other, as I said, any other Labour MP, you know, Tom Watson, had it been, John McDonnell, had it been, anyone from, you know, the shadow cabinet, you know, Keir Starmer, doing that to a climate change protester. But no, because it's a Tory MP and he had his dinner interrupted, you know, they all had their dinners interrupted by, God forbid, some climate change activists who want to do good in the world and want to give out some leaflets and peacefully protest. Clearly had nothing with them, nothing dangerous. All came in, mostly women, I gather, you know, with evening dress to fit in with the rest of the crowd, hand out some pamphlets, wearing climate emergency sashes, so making it quite clear what their purpose is. You know, wearing, you know, not much else, sort of maybe like a little bag, but they might have had acid. These peaceful protesters might have had acid with them. They might have been dangerous. They might have been armed. They could have had knives. I mean, I understand to a point that the climate that we're currently living in, where, you know, milkshakes are getting thrown, you know, knife crime is on the increase in London especially, that, you know, one might be kind of, you know, minded to be aware, much more aware of when things like this happen. But, you know, protests are happening more and more frequently, and it was very obvious what they were there for. And there were ladies, women, peaceful protesters. She kept saying as she was being carted out of the room, this is a peaceful protest, but no. Mark Field had to then go grab her by the back of her neck and just storm her out of the room like she was nothing more than, something that he was dragging behind him. I mean, just that complete lack of respect. The rage switch just suddenly went, and I'm out of my chair, I'm pinning you against a pillar, I'm taking you by the back of your neck, and I'm pushing you out forcibly from this room. That is pretty much akin to assault, in my opinion. That is, GBH to an extent. Like, tell me if I'm wrong. But that poor lady, just there to, make a point, assert herself, say, here's a climate change leaflet. But MP Mark Field, not having it, not having it. Part of the Foreign Office Minister, not having it. I'm gonna assert my male dominance, and I'm gonna get up out of my chair, and I'm gonna fucking pin you against this wall, and I'm gonna push you out with the scruff of your neck. Oh God, I'm not just absolutely unbelievable. And yet the media is like, well, she could have been armed and it was a dangerous situation and we couldn't have known what was going to happen. Fuck off, seriously. That is utter drivel. If that had been anybody else, as I said, if it had been a Labour MP, had it been a Lib Dem, had it been a Green MP, you wouldn't have heard the end of it. You wouldn't have heard the end of it. Let's be real. Just absolutely horrendous behaviour. They move on, and he's not even been fired. He's been suspended from his job. He's still an MP. Most likely in the next few weeks he'll go back to his normal day job and still be paid the fucking salary that he gets paid, and we'll all go back to our crummy lives, because that's life, and Tories don't get punished because they're rich and can get away with it. Let's be real, they can get away with it. It does my head in. It does my fucking head in. So next thing, the next rank hypocrisy, next level hypocrisy that happened at the weekend. Boris Johnson, God forbid, probably, very likely to become our next Prime Minister, was recorded to have, been shouting and, having altercations with his girlfriend somewhere in London, Camberwell, I believe it was. His next door neighbours heard it, recorded the incident, and then sent it off to The Guardian, who then published it. His girlfriend was heard to be screaming, "Get off me!" And the media goes into a fucking frenzy, going, "Oh, it's a private matter. We shouldn't be interfering with private matters." But for God's sake, Boris Johnson is about to become our Prime Minister, the leader of the UK. He is a public figure in public office. He should be held to fucking account. Just like anybody else in public office. You would do it to Tony Blair. You'd do it to Theresa May. You'd do it to Gordon Brown. You'd do it to Margaret fucking Thatcher if she was still alive. But no, because it's Boris Johnson, Bojo the Clown. Let's not bother, because, it's going to affect his polling record. Isn't it a little bit creepy that people are recording, your next door neighbours, screaming rows? No, it's called domestic abuse. And if I heard something similar happening in between the walls of my house, I'd be doing the same. I'd be calling the police, because it's a serious issue. It's oh, you shouldn't be giving it to The Guardian. Why not? It's Boris fucking Johnson. He's about to be running our country. I'd call the Guardian if I could. If someone like Michael Gove was my next door neighbour, I would. Oh, I'm a lefty snowflake. Oh, I'm a Remainer. I'm an elitist establishment figure. Fuck off. Fuck off with your stereotype. I'm done. I'm done being labelled just because I voted Remain, just because I vote Labour, just because the way I live my life makes me some sort of liberal, lefty, someone to be hated and fear-mongered and... God, I'm so done with this right-wing bullshit. I really am. It's like hypocrisy on a massive level. And it's just that, what it really shows is their just really obvious fear of Jeremy Corbyn possibly getting into number 10. And they're trying so fucking hard to just demonise any opposition. It's pathetic. It's so pathetic. I'm so done with it. It's every single day on the news. I can't get away from it. It's like Boris Johnson this, oh, poll numbers this, leadership election, Jeremy Hunt, oh my god, what's so-and-so done, but we won't take it seriously because it's Bojo, he's a charmer, it's his character, it's his personality, people are voting for his character. Nothing to do with policy whatsoever, because in terms of policy, Boris Johnson is a complete and utter failure. Let's be honest, an utter clusterfuck of a failure. And that's the truth. What has he achieved? As Mayor of London, as Foreign Secretary, he's massively failed in that, giving Nazanin Zaghari-Ratcliffe possibly extra time in an Iranian prison because of the words that have come out of his mouth. Honestly, fuck Boris Johnson, fuck the Tory party, and we need a fucking general election because I'm so done with this media Tory loving frenzy. I'm done with it. I'm so done. It's making me fucking ill, and we need a complete rehash of the way that we debate, the way that we discuss, the way that we balance our arguments, especially on the news. The BBC are getting worse, and I'm so sick of watching fucking Question Time. Like, what is that? What's that turned into? Fiona Bruce, I mean, please. The amount of right-wing claptrap that comes out of that from the panellists, my God. Anyway, that's my rant over. It's too long, and I need to start on my Google Hangouts because I can't for the life of me figure out what's going on with that. But I just wanted to get this out and say my piece. So yeah, fucking hell, Boris Johnson is gonna be our PM. Bah! Let me know what you guys think. And I'll see you guys in another video hopefully. See ya.